Good evening everyone, it's dark, but it's time! Tonight we're going to play book number 5 in the GrailQuest series. Let's hope it will be better than book number 4, but there's a big warning at the beginning of the book, which tells us that it won't be better. So at the beginning there's a big warning. It says, "This is the most difficult Grail quest yet. To complete it, you will require exceptional patience, skill, courage, and not a little luck. Examine every possibility with care and caution. Ignore nothing, and above all, be certain to map, which we won't do, your progress as you go along. This latter point is especially important should you manage to enter the kingdom of horrors, where the nature of reality is such that retracing your steps will not necessarily return you to the place you have just come from." Yeah. I think we will be skipping a bunch of stuff, but let's see how it goes. As I said before, by the way, it shall go downhill after what I have read on the internet with the following books in the series. It's what happens. The first part is called Be Merlin. Ah, there you are. Don't panic. There's no crisis, no wicked wizards on the loose, no rampaging dragons, no invading Saxons, no crisis at all. Just a small problem. Or smallish? Well, quite a big problem, really. A rebellion in Avalon. You remember Avalon, don't you? King Arthur's realm. Knights, heroes, damsels in distress. All that sort of thing. And me, the wizard, Merlin. The king has instructed me to send you this message. Come here at once! Got that? Come here at once! Signed, Arthurus Rex. You'll need your usual equipment, of course. A pencil, paper, an eraser, and 2 6-sided dice. One will do if you haven't got 2, but 2 is better. Get your equipment together, then come back. Now, pay close attention, because this is important. If you have never adventured in the GrailQuest, that's not the case. If you have adventured in the GrailQuest but can't remember the rules, let's say that we remember all of them. If you have adventured in the GrailQuest and remember all about rolling up your life points, fight, and so on, go to the other number. So the beginning is similar to book number 4. That means that we're already beginning the story itself in the kingdom of horror. Knock knock. Just ignore that. Somebody's knocking at my door. They'll go away eventually. They always do. Now, pay attention. In a moment, I'm going to call you back to my time. I'm going to cast a net spell which captures your mind and pops it into the body of a young person here in Avalon. A young person called Peep, who is quite a hero. Peep has slaughtered wizards and dragons and monsters galore. Yes, indeed, a sturdy young person. I have Peep's body here, all ready for you. It's in a wicker hamper underneath the table. In quite good order, too. A few scars from old wounds, but sound of wind and limb. If you've used Pip's body before, you'll hardly notice any difference from the last time. Except for the bolt through the neck. I'm sorry about that, but there's nothing I can do about it now. It was a little experiment I was trying after I read an old diary by a Dr. von Frankenstein. He used lightning to animate bodies, the most ingenious approach. I tried it out on young Pip's body, actually. Iron bolt through the neck, propped Pip up against an oak tree and waited for a thunderstorm. There were 7 lightning strikes directly into the bolt. It didn't animate the body, but it fused the iron into place, and now I can get the bolt out without removing the head. Never mind, you look quite distinguished, with a bolt through your neck. There are also certain benefits from the lightning, which... Knock, knock, knock. Go away! Oh no, not you. No, where was I? Oh yes, the net spell. When you get here, I'll have your spell books ready and your magic sword and some very special... Knock, crash, crash! Will you go away? Honestly, some people just don't understand the meaning of privacy. Of course, the whole of Avalon has gone to pieces since the rebellion started, but we'll soon sort out that little problem. It's only a question of getting back Excalibur for the king. What was I saying? Yes, very special armor, which will let you win all your fights without any chance of injury, and some excellent magical gear. But first, the nets... Crash, crash, splinter, Todd! Those peasants don't know their own strength, do they? The door is half of its hinges. I shall have something to say to them all right when I finish this spell. The adventure begins. The net spell snakes through time from Merlin's outstretched fingers, reaching with invisible tendrils to capture your mind and bring it to the green fields and rolling countryside of Arthur's Avalon. You feel faintly disorientated. Your surroundings fade. No longer are you in the 20th century. Instead, this isn't right. No green fields. No rolling countryside. You may be in Avalon, but if you are, you're in a funny part of Avalon. Your trusty talking sword, EJ, is with you. Merlin must have left the body you'll be using for your adventure in a box somewhere, and now you've arrived. You're trapped. 2 options. Either call for help, or we can try poking EJ through the gaps in the wickerwork to knock up the asp. Not sure calling for help is a good idea because some people broke down the door. Be a bit serious here and try to poke EJ. Get his help. Carefully you slide EJ blade first through a gap in the wicker hamper. Although you can see what you're doing, after an age something clicks. At once the lid springs open, allowing you to stand up impatiently and bang your head against the underside of the table. You extricate EJ from the wicker basket and crawl out. The room is in total shambles. Furniture has been smashed, cupboards overturned, an alchemical furnace pounded into scrap metal, books and parchment manuscripts torn into shreds. A door leading outside hangs drunkenly from broken hinges. There are marks on the dusty floor as if somebody had been dragged out and several damp boot prints throughout the room. Merlin is nowhere in sight, nor is anybody else for that matter. Where is this place? You ask EJ. Merlin's new house, I think. You groan inwardly. Merlin is notorious for the odd places he picks as home. At various times he has lived in a log castle, a crystal cave, an old oak tree, and a bubble at the bottom of a well. If this is his new house, it could be anywhere. You hesitate a moment, taking stock of your position. Obviously something very nasty has happened to Merlin, probably related to the rebellion mansion. The marks on the floor suggest he has been dragged away bodily, so that the longer you wait, the greater chance there is that his assailants will get away. As against that, without Merlin to meet you when the net spell worked, you have no magic nor equipment for an adventure. Nothing, in fact. but your life points, your skill, and your trusty talking sword. Let's roll those life points, actually. You. Yeah, that was to die. Yep. Just rolled really bad. Okay, that's better. 9, so 36. Plus 1. 37. Now that we have our life points, 2 options. We can risk Merlin's attackers getting away and search this room in the hope of finding magic or equipment, or risk running into Merlin's attackers without magic or equipment. Yeah, Merlin will be fine. Let's find stuff. Quickly, you hustle through the room, desperately searching for something of use, but anything that hasn't been stolen has been smashed or torn. A bronze mirror, and even that is badly dented. You glance at your harassed reflection as you are setting the mirror to one side. Good grief, Merlin wasn't joking. There is an iron bolt right through your neck. You pick up the mirror again and stare at it in mute astonishment. If you weren't such an incredibly handsome young person, you will be the spitting image of Frankenstein's monster. The bolt enters your neck just below the jawbone and emerges in much the same place on the other side. And as if that wasn't bad enough, Merlin's let it go rusty. "I've got a bolt through my neck!" you exclaim. "I know," says EJ. "Try not to touch it." "Why not?" you ask, involuntarily touching the bolt. At once, a vicious shock jabs through your arm, making your hair stand momentarily on end and deftly removing 3 of your life points. "Warn you," sniffs CJ. "I was watching when Merlin was messing around with that thing. It's full of lightning bolts." This is all you need. A bolt through your neck, charged full of electricity. A wrecked room. Merlin kidnapped. Or worse. A rebellion on and not a scrap of magic or equipment left intact. "Come on," you say. "We've wasted long enough in here. Let's get after the people who took Merlin." "Aren't you taking the sleep globe under the sofa?" asks EJ. "Sleep globe?" you ask stupidly. "Little glass thing about the size of a cricket ball," says EJ. "It's got gas inside. It will put 1 enemy to sleep for 12 combat rounds, or 12 enemies to sleep for 1 combat round, or 6 enemies to sleep for 2 combat rounds, or 3 enemies to sleep for 4 combat rounds, or 2... Yes, I get the idea. Why didn't you tell me about this before?" "You didn't ask me, incidentally," EJ adds. "You can only use it once. You have to break the globe to get the gas out." Grabbing the globe in one hand and EJ in the other, you race from the wreckage of the room through the broken door and outside. Okay, let's recall how EJ works. Yes, we won't have anything else of the last adventure. Caliber Jr. was 4 to hit. Plus 5 damage, but plus 10 against dragons. Go check the notes I kept last time. Yep, indeed. And as for equipment, I guess we have only the sleep globe. 1 use. Now that you have a moment to look around, you quickly take stock of your surroundings. The building you have just left is a perfect cube, with slightly rounded corners, standing on what appears to be a rocky plateau on the top of a small mountain. Each round windows have been set into the sides of the cube in such a way as to give it the appearance of a six-sided die. The effect is absolutely fascinating, but for the moment you have no time to worry about it. At the edge of the plateau, a narrow path winds downwards, and from your vantage point you can see a group of men hurrying along it. Their progress is being slowed substantially by the furious struggles of a tall, thin, white-robed, and similarly bearded figure from whom they are apparently attempting to kidnap. "You down there, stop!" you call bravely, waving EJ foreheaded in phases. The group halts and heads turn at the sound. For a moment they confer together, while you begin to wonder if stealth might not have been a better strategy, since there are 7 of them altogether, not counting the white-robed figure who is certainly your crabby old mentor Merlin. The distance is a little too far to hear what they are saying, but in a moment 3 of the men break away from the group and rush back up the path towards you. All 3 are waving +3 clubs, so it seems unlikely they are coming back to invite you out to tea. Nonetheless, you stoutly stand your ground, legs akimbo, EJ trembling with suppressed excitement in your strong right hand. The men reach the plateau and the fight is on. And a tough fight it will be for an adventure that has hardly started yet. Each one of these rough peasants has 20 life points. And though they each require 6 or better to hit the clubs as mentioned, do +3 damage. Yeah, it will be a really tough fight. Initiative. Pip first. Alright. We don't have that much gold, I guess. Crazy that the 3 peasants together are harder than the Mummy Lord, kind of. The big boss of the last book. See how it goes. 7, that's it. 4, 9. 9 on the... only 9. I'll double check the thing about the armor making us invulnerable. We have a jerkin or something. Not at all. Okay. So they roll 2d6 each. Which means it. Okay, that's 6 plus 3, 9. 4, that's 13. 23 damage. How are we going to survive that? I think I'm forced to use the sleep globe already. That's it. Only 7. Well, maybe we'll be a little lucky with the rolls. It and it again. Yeah, that's sleep globe time. Is it a win with the sleep globe? It just makes them skip the combat round. Okay. So 3 enemies for 4 combat rounds. Okay, first turn of sleep. That's it for Pip. One is dead. Second round of sleep. That's it again. Third round of sleep. It again. Last round of sleep. Two peasants dead. And this is the turn of Pip. Oh, the last one is barely alive. But he'll get a shot against Pip. That's a miss. Counterattack from Pip. And he's dead. Okay, we survived because of the sleep globe. What kept you? Merlin asks crabbily as you run down a mountain path to help him the last few remaining yards onto the plateau. Haven't you realized Excalibur is still missing? Excalibur? You echo. The king's sword? Yes, the king's sword. Nicked by some scabby tortfeasor while you were sunning yourself in ancient Greece. I meant to mention it after you'd put pay to the Saxon invasion, but you skipped off so quickly afterwards I never had the chance. And since it takes quite a time for me to prepare a net spell, half the country is in rebellion. Who holds Excalibur rules the realm, that's always been the way. And since Arthur doesn't hold it now, a lot of people are saying he's not fit to govern. But what of the Knights of the Table Round? You cry. Merlin sniffs. They've stayed loyal for the most part, but they can be everywhere. Although they're trying, of course. Lancelot is at Land's End, Galahad is at John O'Groats, and King Pellinore is sailing up the Mersey. None of it is doing any good. As fast as one pocket of rebellion is put down, another one springs up. The only thing for it is to find a sword, and quickly, which is where you come in. He brushes himself down and asks, Do you like my new house? You follow the direction of his gaze to the cubed structure. Oh, that, yes, very nice. As an afterthought, you ask, Where are we exactly? Ladogod-Gwentor, Merlin replies. In the Welsh mountains. I came here for a bit of peace, but the rebellion is everywhere. Never mind, now the net spell's done. I can set traps. But in the meantime, we'd better get you ready for your search. As you walk together towards the cubicle house, Merlin remarks, I really built this for you, you know, and a good job too. Those peasants ruined all the spells and most of the equipment I had stockpiled for you. So when you need a bit of magic, you'll just have to pop back for it. Have you noticed anything peculiar about the house? It looks like a dice cube. Most observant, and for good reason, sympathetic magic. Like attracts like, as above so below, and so on. Anytime you need to come back here, all you do is roll one die. It will transport you back to the house so long as you don't roll a 1 or a 6. What happens if I roll a 1 or a 6? You ask. Merlin regards you sternly. We won't discuss depressing things like that, and now don't hang about. You can help me repair the door, then I'll set you on the road to finding the sword. Since Merlin is using magic, a throw of 10 or better on 2 dice will repair the door. After you've... Okay, is there a not managing? I just need to roll the... That's useless, I just skip that. I won't roll dice until I get a specific result. Okay. This. Oddly enough, the interior of Merlin's residence looks completely different to the way you left it. Much the same size and shape, but no sign of broken furniture or wicker baskets or any of the mess left by the peasants breaking in. Can you read maps? Merlin asks you abruptly. You nod. Then take a look at this one. He draws from a pocket a parchment scroll which he proceeds to unroll on a nearby table. It was discovered at the scene of the crime. It is my belief it contains a vital clue to the present whereabouts of Excalibur. Do you recognize any of the place names? Okay, so the map is at the end of the book. It's the map of the Fairy Kingdom. I think I'm on the right page. I think. Lots of fun places like the Mountains of Madness. Oh, there's a giant wall like Attack on Titan. You stare at the map, frowning. Mountains of Madness, Wilderness of Karn, Scragolo City. None of the names is familiar. You shake your head. That's because these places do not exist, Merlin tells you. At least not in our reality. This is a map of a small part of the Fairy Kingdom. But who, you ask, in this Fairy Kingdom would want Excalibur? Merlin shrugs. Who can say now? He adds briskly. On the matter of equipment and magic, you can't have any. At least not at the moment. All smashed up by the revolting peasants. Yes, indeed. I shall do my best to sort something out, and you can pick it up later. How? You ask, alarmed at the prospect of setting off with no more than your faithful talking sword. By popping back to my new house when you feel the need, snaps Merlin. I've already told you. When you want to return here, which you can do at any time except during a combat or when somebody has laid a spell on you, all you have to do is roll one die and turn to the section headed Merlin's house. You'll only be able to take one thing at a time from here, of course, but it's the best I can do in difficult circumstances. Now, are you ready to be off? I don't even know where I'm supposed to be going. No, but I do, says Merlin, beginning to wave his arms in the intricate pattern which marks the start of a transportation spell. Wait! You shout desperately, having discovered in the past how unreliable Merlin's magical transportation can be. But as always, it is just a little bit too late. The room begins to spin around you, growing faster and faster until you are aware of nothing other than a swirling fog. Fortunately, you don't have to stay fogged. It will clear a little. The fog clears, although you may well wish it hadn't. You are standing alone on a broad Roman road running due north in one direction and branching southwest and south in the other. All around you is a sweeping plain. At the fork is a wooden gibbet, from which hangs the smelly remains of a rotting corpse. Beneath the corpse, a clump of yarrow plant is growing. If this is the fairy kingdom, the fairies must be pretty funny folk. But something tells you it's nothing of the sort. All your instincts point to the fact that you're still in Avalon. But where in Avalon? I don't suppose you know where we are, you ask EJ. Nope, EJ replies shortly. I don't suppose Merlin remembered to give you that map of the place we're supposed to be going, did he? No, he didn't, you mutter sorely. Better pop back for it then, remarks EJ with a self-satisfied sniff. Well, possibly, but you do have several alternatives. We can either follow the Roman road north, or take the southern fork, or the southwestern fork, or pick some of the yarrow, or examine the smelly corpse, or as EJ says, we can throw one die, go back to Merlin's new house, and turn to the Merlin's house section. Yeah, let's do that. Let's pick all the thing we can. 3. Merlin's house. Where is that section? The appendix has nearly 20 pages. Okay, the 3-spot entrance gives you access to Merlin's stock of magical items. Some useful, some stupid, some dangerous, and all extremely mysterious. In most instances, only one of the listed items exists, but for a few of them, Merlin carries backup supplies. You may take only one magical item each time you visit the store. For the magic to work effectively, the item must be chosen sight unseen. That is to say, you must pick your item before turning to the instructions about its powers. In most cases, a clue to the power and use of the item is in its name. So study the list carefully. When you have made your choice, take a note of the number of the item, then look up that number on the instruction page. When you have taken a magical item, it must be crossed off the list. If it runs out in use, you may not pick that item again, unless it is one of the few where the list shows more than one in stock. Once you have all that sorted out, return to the section you were. Okay. The stock of magic items. Here. Okay, there are 26 of them. Aborigine pointing bone, bolt through neck instructions, boots of speed 2 pairs, a broken crystal ball, dead bell of demonic summoning, Egyptian dead mask, eye of Horus, Indian rope trick instructions, laughing globe, levitation tablet, lightning rod, lightning wand, lucky coin, 2 magic fireball, mask of friendship, orb of incredible destruction, a portable decoder, a psionic elm, a rainbow bubble pipe, resurrection wand, a sanctuary scroll, a seeker needle, 3 sleep globe, 2 vials of swarm oil, smarm oil, a vorpal sword, and a Xerox copy. It's strange, but I think I'd like the Xerox copy. This item produces an exact replica of you. Huh? In 3 dimensions, full color and natural sound during a combat. The result is that your confused opponent will be able to strike the real you only every other round. Whatever the dice might indicate, roll 1 die to discover how many times you can use this item before its powers runs out. We have 4 Xerox copy. And we go back here. I wonder what prevents us from taking... Ah, yeah, the bad roll on the Merlin house dice, which might probably kill us, I guess. It didn't give us the map, though. Ugh, forget it. Okay. Let's examine the corpse before picking the yarrow plant. If you survive this operation without developing some noxious disease, it will be a miracle. The corpse has obviously been hanging here for a very long time, and what bits of it haven't already fallen off soon will be by the look of it. Clothing is largely gone to rags, but by dint of holding your nose, you do manage a reasonably thorough search. It reveals only 2 items of interest. One is a small gold coin, the other is a scrap of parchment. The coin is not a standard gold piece. It is too small for one thing, nor does it carry Arthur's sovereign insignia, nor the head of any Roman emperor, as some old coins in circulation still do. In fact, it is perfectly blank and featureless, but it is perhaps not a coin at all, but a small golden disc. Scrap of parchment has something written on it in spidery writing, a foreign language, or possibly a code of some sort. To make matters worse, the parchment is obviously old, badly torn, and certainly only a small bit of a much larger sheet, so that only fragments of the original writing are left. But for what it's worth, this is what you can read. It's a code, yes, well... Takes too long to decipher those codes, so take a quick look on the internet instead. Here's the answer. Ancient lore, seek the giant dance, gold disc activates. Ancient lore, seek the giant dance. Seek the giant dance. Gold disc activates. Okay, the giant dance. And they remove the options to pick the yarrow plant. Okay. I guess we pick up the golden disc too. Can go north, southwest, or south. Let's go north. You follow the road without incident for perhaps 20 minutes, the serenity of the day broken only by EJ's mumbled conviction that you are going in the wrong direction. And indeed he might be right, for the countryside around the road is featureless, with nothing to indicate any entrance to anything, let alone the fairy kingdom you are supposed to be looking for. You're just beginning to wonder if you should turn back when you spot another corpse lying on the side of the road, a little way ahead. This one is even smellier than the last. Are you going to risk the Black Plague by investigating this corpse? Yeah, well, it's not tempting at all. Or you can continue north, or you can backtrack to the fork and go southwest or south. Let's examine the corpse. I'm not sure we're going to get the Black Plague. The corpse opens its eyes. "Idioki man!" it exclaims in a broad Hibernian accent. "If it's money you're after, your lordship, sure I haven't a penny piece to me name, and that's the truth." You step back in alarm, and realize this smelly heap of rags is in fact an old beggar. "Pray be reassured," you tell him politely. "I am no brigand, thief or robber, but merely an adventurer in search of the entrance to the fairy kingdom." "Ah," says he, scratching himself widely. "The kingdom of horror, is it?" I beg your pardon?" "You'll be looking for the giant's dance. That's the only entrance to the fairy kingdom I know of." "The giant's dance?" Groan. "The big stone circle down the road a step the way you came. Sure, it's a miracle you didn't notice it." He stands up. "Well, since you won't be after robbing me, I'd better be on me way." With which he sets off briskly to northwards. We can do the same, or like to look into the giant's den stone circle business by going back to the fork and traveling south for southwest. Let's go back to the fork. Looks like the Romans ran out of paving stones. The road ends less than half a mile along here, or at least dwindles into what looks like a cattle track. Wasn't it southwest then? Check southwest. Or maybe we're at the end of the road going into the circle. Stone circle. Yeah, let's follow the track and see. Oh no, you've ended up in a herd of cows. They're all over the place, and they've churned up the ground so much it's impossible to see where the track leads. A harassed cow herd is racing around with a stick trying to get the animals into some sort of marching order, but without any real degree of success. If you're feeling benevolent, you can give the cow herd a hand, or search for the continuation of the track, or throw your hat at it and backtrack. Maybe if we help the guy. It's fortunate you have a bit of experience in farming as the adopted child of Freeman John and good wife Mary, otherwise you'd be trampled by these stupid cows. Nonetheless, you persevere, and between yourself and the cow herd, the herd is eventually back together again. "Oh, you be thankful to he, young traveler," exclaims the cow herd, gratefully wiping his brow with a bit of straw. "Them bees be right tricky to handle. How'd been got no mud nor wife nor kin to give a helping hand. A penny might like to stay well and work for hoy. A growed be ye be day going rate, we bathe in the brie and all the bangle woozle ye can eat on Thursdays." Even a portable translator wouldn't make much of that lot, but you concentrate hard and conclude this rural entrepreneur is offering you a job. "Thank you, no," you refuse politely. "I fear I already have a job as a professional adventurer." "Oh, hard," nods the yokel sagely, fumbling in the pocket of his schmuck. Then take it as a right to passage token from the official Peasant Rebellion Organization Committee, of which we bishop's steward. It might be of use somewhat some time. With which he hands you a small copper disc with a crude X scratched onto one side. Rite of passage. Thank you, you reply, pocketing the token, and wondering if you might have escaped from a funny farm. Then as an afterthought, you ask, I don't suppose you might know where the entrance to the Fairy Kingdom is hereabouts? Oh, hi, the Kingdom of Horror, he replies, smiling broadly. You be needing the going dance, you be. Take the road back ways till you find the hangman and journey sideways man yourself. Which makes as much sense as anything he said, although the instructions seems to be clear enough. If you want to follow them, go to the fork. And go southwest. Alright, southwest. Ah, the joys of life on the open road. Trudging along without the slightest notion of where you're supposed to be going or what to do when you get there. But it's a lovely day. The birds are singing, the air is fresh, and the only thing you have to worry about is that huge group of ugly-looking peasants with pitchforks bearing down on you. In a moment they have completely blocked your path. There must be at least 25 of them, looking grim and suspicious, not to say threatening. Stand aside, you say bravely, fingering the hilt of your sword. Although in truth, you know you wouldn't stand a chance against so many in a fight. Not until he shows us your right of passage token, properly inscribed, rolls their leader, hefting his pitchfork menacingly. If you have a right of passage token, simply hand it to the leader and you will be allowed to pass on without hindrance. So we do. You follow the road as before until your eagle eyes catches sight of a signpost of the road across the broad surrounding plain. The signpost, burned to wood with a red poker by the looks of it and rather dirty done as well, says a bunch of gibberish. Okay. Hello again, Internet. But if the code is the same, the letters are backward, I guess it'd be quicker to pick it up. Oh, it's written Giant Dance. Should follow the signpost. This looks really interesting. You've reached a massive ring of standing stones, monoliths, megaliths, trilitons, the whole bag. This must be what they call the Giant's Dance, luckily. Although you have some faint memory that the Romans, called it Apollo's Temple, and in a later age, the one you've come from thanks to Merlin's net spell, this is the ancient construction known as Stonehenge. Now you know where you are, Salisbury Plain. But how can this be the entrance to the Fairy Kingdom, or the Kingdom of Horror, as some people seem to be calling it? You'd better do a little exploration and see if you can find out. There is a neat map of the Giant's Dance at the end with various places numbered. Use it to decide where you're going next. Oh, there it is. There. 6 spots. 5, which has is northeast outside the circle. 15, a kind of hook with a little mound. 16 looks like a column at the outside of the circle. 26 is opposing the opposite of 15. 72 straight in the middle, and 56 are the little circles in the middle. I guess we could go from the outside towards the inside. There's something behind the stone. Swiftly, you draw EJ and zip around to confront the horror that awaits you. Equally swiftly, you slide EJ back into his scabbard and remove your hat. I do beg your pardon, you say politely. I'm afraid I thought you were a monster. Do I look like a monster? Asks the slim girl in the white linen robe, leaning on the stone. Not exactly, you say. That is, not at all. I'm just a bit nervous. I am Camilla, says the girl, smiling. I sometimes come here to feel the stones. You stop yourself just in time. Looking closer at Camilla's eyes, you realize she's blind. Oh yes, I see. May I feel your face? She asks. You sound nice. Yes, of course. You stand there a little embarrassed by this unexpected development as Camilla runs her fingers lightly over your face. Excuse me, she says after a moment, but do you have a bolt through your neck? If you still have that stupid bolt, yes we do. Oh, that's bad. She's going to die. Ah. And us too, I think. You nod and remember and say, yes. I thought so, says Camilla. Would you like me to take it out? I'm quite good at that sort of thing. I was told it couldn't be taken out without my head falling off. Stuff and nonsense, says Camilla. I can remove it quite safely. It's up to you, Pip. Do we want the bolt removed? Depends, will the bolt still shoot lightning after being removed? I think we should keep the bolt. Well, the least said about that now the better, remarks Camilla mysteriously. I suppose you're looking for the entrance to the fairy kingdom. How on earth did you know that? You ask in amazement. Merlin told me. He sent me here to help you. Can you beat that? The old fool wasn't as disorganized as he seemed. Do you know where the entrance is? You say. Oh yes, says Camilla brightly. It's at one of the mounds, the one due south of here. But you'll need to start the giant's dance first. I suppose you do have the little golden disc. Well, do you? Yes, we do. I'm so relieved, says Camilla. But you will also need this. She takes from a fold of her robe a sprig of cherry blossom. Isn't this a pretty part of your adventure? Don't worry, Wallace. You must offer the blossom to the guardian of the gateway. Where do I find the gateway? You ask ever sharp. At 56. Camilla replies, smiling. The guardian will instruct you what to do next. Okay. You're approaching a vast trilogy gateway, and a bit of action by the look of it. A shimmering mist fills the space between the granite, uprights, and within it stands a towering figure. Arms crossed over his massive chest, a club as big as a tree trunk. in his right hand, frowning like thunder and generally making you feel as if you just climbed up a beanstalk. "Where is my cherry blossom?" asks the figure in a voice that reverberates across the plain. Not just a giant, but a giant nutter. Still, you may be carrying a bit of cherry blossom. In which case, give it to him, quick and zip. We do. "Thank you," says the giant. "I adore cherry blossom. Take this and pass through the gateway." This turns out to be a scroll on which is written a bunch of gibberish. Let's translate the gibberish. It says, "When and if you best the monster, place golden disc on altar and stand back and go to 43. I wonder what kind of monster talking about. Do we need to kill the giant though? Can slip through the gateway though. Huh. Yeah, I think stands to reason to follow the only option left. The great stones of the Enge loom all around you. Before you is a flat granite slab laid out to form a massive altar. And on the altar, you don't really want to know what's on the altar, do you, Pip? You can always go back to your plan and try another destination, or slip back to Merlin's house for more supplies, or something. But you insist on facing the appalling white face and long-fanged creature, even now rising up from the altar. No, okay. Alright. Greetings, visitor to this place. How glad I am to see your face. Oh no, it can be. For I am lonely on this stone, which tends to freeze one's backside to the bone. Oh yes, it is. And while that has made me short-tempered, as you can see, I will accept your visit as well meant, provided you have the proper equipment. Only one creature on Earth could mouth verse quite as bad as that, the incredible poetic fiend, whose name is a living legend among adventurers the length and breadth of Avalon. And know exactly what to do, the fiend continues, otherwise you'll be in a stew. Summoning all your wits, you quickly extemporize your reply. Oh, mighty poet, I do know it. As to equipment, it will serve to take me just as far as I deserve. Well said, exclaims the fiend. He approaches you with hand outstretched. But I still have to assure myself you have everything you need. A small special gold coin and the coded instruction on how to use it. If you have the coin and instructions, turn there. If not, we do. You have the coin and instruction. Yes, murmurs the fiend. This all seems to be in order. Now simply follow the instructions on your scroll, and the best of luck. You heard the fiend. Follow the instructions if you've managed to decode them. Yep, 43. That's torn it. As soon as you follow the instructions, the great stones around you begin to glow. At once a rumbling noise begins beneath your feet, for all the world like an earthquake or a team of giants dancing. What's going on here? You ask the poetic fiend in sudden alarm. Sorry, he says. Just remember the previous appointment, and disappears without so much as a farewell ode. The ground begins to rise and fall beneath your feet like an angry sea. The glow becomes brighter and brighter until you are half blinded. A great voice echoes through the air. Reverse the numbers of the mounds to find that which you seek, but beware, the wrong mound means death. The great voice dies away. The ground slowly reverts back to solidity. The bright glow dims, then disappears, leaving you to solve the mystery of the message of the voice. Okay, the mounds. There's 15 and 26 at least. Yeah, those are the two mounds. I don't know which one is the good one, which one is the bad one. Try the right one. Looks as though you've solved the mystery, Pip. This is definitely one of the mounds. At first glance, it looks just like an ordinary mound, but as you circle around it, you find set into one side a heavy brass-bonded wooden door. Cautiously, you try the handle and discover that it opens easily, revealing a flight of worn stone steps descending into darkness. But will you take them? The voice warned that the wrong mound led to death. The choice is yours, of course. Check the other one, just to be sure. It's the same thing. Okay, well, go with the first pick. The steps lead downwards into a 20 by 20 stone-lined chamber with no discernible exit. On the wall opposite the stairs, someone has scrawled a message. Will you approach the wall to read the message? I guess so. As you step onto the floor of the chamber, a sudden grinding noise erupts behind you. Yeah, I thought it was a trap. You swing round just in time to see the stairs withdrawing upwards, sealing the room completely and leaving you trapped, with a note too obscene and terrible to record here. Exhibit code as follows. Ah, yeah, the code. You turn back to the wall and the scrawled message. It reads, Mortal, you have chosen unwisely. Only your wits can save you now. The number you must know is 3. The message is... Yeah, let's go translate this to save time. So it said, "Oh blow, your escape lies at 9. Should have gone left at the beginning. Always towards the east, always take the left. That's what happens when you don't do as you should do. Indeed it does, unbelievably simple though it may sound. All you need now is to do is consult your plan and pick another destination, which is the other mound in reverse, which leads downstairs and the steps as well. And there we are. The steps lead downwards into a 2020 line chamber, the same thing. There's a message on the wall as well. As you step onto the floor of the chamber, a sudden grinding noise erupts, the same thing. Mortal beware, you stand at the brink. Those who enter the kingdom of the fairy do so at their peril. Only the bravest and most daring may venture beyond this point. Prove yourself now by defeating the ghastly guardian ghoul, or die in the attempt. The ghastly guardian ghoul. There's no ghastly guardian ghoul here. Just an empty chamber with no exit. Now the stairs have disappeared. Frowning, you read the message again, wondering vaguely if you somehow misunderstood it, but it's plain enough. Hello? You call uncertainly. Any ghouls here? Just one. A soft voice whispers in your ear. You spin around in sudden alarm. The creature before you is nearly 8 feet tall, with pink eyes, chalk-white skin, claws, fangs, pointy ears, long arms, and a natty little mustache. It is wearing a Macintosh and gum boots, doubtless torn savagely from some earlier adventurer, and carrying a mace from which drips a poisonous green slime. It smiles. Welcome to the kingdom of horror, it says. This is big trouble, Pip. Don't waste your time trying for a friendly reaction. You should know by now you never get one from a ghoul. This particular ghoul has exactly the same life points as you have. Okay, before starting the fight, let's go to Merlin's house. I need something to heal. Number 2. The 2-spot entrance gives you access to Merlin's equipment store, and very useful too. Turn to the equipment list. You may choose any 2 items each time you visit his room. When you have taken your chosen, return to where you were. Okay, the item for the equipment, there are 33 of them. Aches, bandages, boots, breastplate, -2 damage. False bird and mustache, hammer, harp, healing potion, healing salve, 1 jar. Knife, lantern, lute, lyre, mallet, map of fairy kingdom. Nails, parchment, pipes of pan, powdered ink, pumpkin, quartz crystal, quill pen, rations, wick, robe 50 feet, sack of grain, sandals, saw, shipped skin jacket, spikes, 1 dozen, string 100 feet, tinderbox, water bag full, and a wooden plank 20 feet long. I guess we'll need the healing salve, 1 jar, and a breastplate, -2 on damage. Number 4 and 9. Says that this item is useless. Since you have it now, you might as well keep it. Maybe you can con some poor sucker to buy it from you for an unbelievable sum of gold. Yeah. Oh, it's the magic item. Oh, no. That's but there's no instruction for equipment. Okay. So straight up. A breastplate and healing jar. Healing salve, 1 jar. How much is 1 jar of healing salve? I think that were 6 before. That's written down. Really think it's 6. Is it written somewhere else? The equipment. It's not. Seriously. Healing salve, healing salve. Healing salve. 6-3 each. Good. Let's use it right away. Breastplate, -2 damage. It's not as good as the leather dragon jerkin, but well. And we have 29 HP now. Ready for the ghoul fight. This is big trouble, Pip. Don't waste your time trying for a friendly reaction. You should know by now you never get one from a ghoul. This particular ghoul has exactly the same life points as you have. Huh. Would have been easier without healing myself. Strikes on 4 are better and does +5. Well, he has the same stats as we do. But not the armor though. Where's still the first successful strike it gets will poison you. Oh, he has a dot of 3 life points. Damn. That will be a very hard fight. Initiative. Pip first. At least, alright. 11, nice roll. That's 8, 13 damage on the ghoul. Ghoul strikes back. That's a hit. 9 damage. And we lose 3 for the rest of the combat. Each round. Barely hit. Oh, I forgot to remove 2 damage from this. Ghoul strikes again. 8, 5, 10, -2, 8. 14, -3, 11. Oof. But that's a hit. Survived. Hit again 4. That's 9. -2, 7. -3. Oh, 1 HP. Okay, we need to strike it while it's hot. Let's see. And the ghoul is dead. Alright, we survived with 1 HP. Yeah, let's add XP for 2 here, the peasants before. Okay, victory against the ghoul. Oh no, it's getting up again. You definitely killed the thing, but it's getting up again and changing. An incredible metamorphosis is occurring. The ghoul's ghastly chalk-white skin is turning silver, and its fangs are retracting, its arms growing shorter. It's in stark contrast with the ghastly ghoul. The creature now standing before you is one of the most beautiful you have ever seen. A tall, slim, blue-robed, silver-skinned humanoid with an aura of power around him that absolutely precludes any question of your renewing your attack. His eyes, twin orbs of silver, flecked with gold, regard you gravely. You did well to kill my alter ego, Pip, he says. And by doing so, you have proven yourself worthy to enter the fairy kingdom, which for some becomes the kingdom of horror. Your quest is known to me, and it is a noble aim, but I say this to you. To achieve your goal, you must travel widely, search everywhere, equip yourself well, and use your head as often as your sword arm. To aid you, I make you this gift. And he takes from a fold of his robe a small silver sphere. This artifact, he says, must never leave you. Hold it to you even in death. Its value is 100,000 golden pieces, but you must never sell it or attempt it as a bribe. This is a sphere of warning. It may be used only in the fairy kingdom. Take it in your hand. Instantly, you stretch your hand and the silver creature rubs the sphere into your palm. At once, the sphere glows green. When the sphere glows green, you are in no immediate danger. When it glows amber, some danger threatens. When it glows red, great danger threatens. But most of all, should the sphere begin to glow golden, then the great sword you seek is close by. Your tall companion folds his arms. And now the time has come. He closes his eyes in silent meditation. A spiral of clear blue light erupts from somewhere near his feet and begins to curl upwards. Spinning faster and faster, the light expands, swirling around you until it is all you can see. For a moment your senses are disrupted, then the light fades and the silver-skinned creature is gone. So too is the stone-lined chamber. You look around you in amazement, as you well might, since you are now standing somewhere else. You're standing within a megalithic ring, but one very different from the Henge at Salisbury Plain. There are fewer stones, and those are smaller and more ancient. All around you, stretching as far as the eye can see, is a vast wilderness. High above you, the sun shines brightly in a clear green sky. Green? You look up again, the sky is definitely green. And the sun, you got the statistic from the Henge. Wherever you are certainly not in Avalon, quite possibly not even in the known world. But wherever you are, it's pointless staying put. You can move off in any one of the 8 directions. Okay, we can check the map of the Fairy Kingdom that we don't have. So we need to go to Merlin's house and die, I guess. Oh shit. Not the best of all possible results, since the one spot represents the underside of Merlin's house. You are now trapped in the solid basalt of the Welsh mountains. If you hold your breath, you may actually survive for anything up to 4 minutes. After that, you can go quietly to 14. And the question is, why shouldn't I just throw another die? I guess I'm stuck in the stone. Yeah, that's the reason. So we die in the stone. Alright, and I have to start again with no more than old DJ. Okay, we lose all the items. Check for life points. Yep. 32 plus 1, 33. Killed by Merlin, in a manner of speaking. I think that's the first time. Yeah, we need to go to Merlin's house. So let's see. 6. Do we die? More trouble. Since the 6 participated on the roof of Merlin's house, you crash through the ceiling for the loss of half of your current life points. But insult to injury, you have landed in Merlin's bathroom, which contains nothing more useful than a toothbrush. Return to the section you were in when you roll the die. I'll take the toothbrush. Never know. Let's roll another die. And boom, another toothbrush. And we died. Okay, that's totally stupid now. Rolling for loot. And dying if you fail. Okay, let's just skip this shit. I'll take a look at all the things. I guess if they ask if you have XYZ, I'll take all the or another idea. Let's forget the dying thing phase and just roll 20d6. See where it leads us. And pick the best trait. 1 dies, 6 isn't so bad. 5 roll. 5 roll is the best. Yeah, let's go with 5. That's a good average. During the 5 we get 5, 4, 3, 2, 2. The wicker basket. Oh, 5 is useless. Okay. 4. Or restore life points. So it's a counter to 6 that give us more reason to keep the full HP. So only 3 and 2 gives stuff. 1 magic item, so the Xerox copy. And 4 standard item. It will be the healing potion. You can get 2 of those. Alright. So that's 12 out of 12. Did I read correctly? That will be 2 of those. Spot the magical items. Nope, standard items. The store very useful. You may choose 2 each time you come back again. Mark them off the list. Okay, yeah, right. No 2 healing potions then. Oh, that means we can't get back the breastplate if we die. Ah, that sucks so much. Yeah, we need to take different items. And we lost the Xerox copy, that means 2 as well. And we can lose the map of the Fairy Kingdom. Ah, seriously. 2 items. Take the rope for 3. And bandages 4. As for the magic item, that bell of demonic summoning. That bell summons Fred. 66 life point. 4 to hit. Plus 7 damage. Roll 1 die. 3, 6. Fred is friendly. 1, 2. Enemy. It's worth 500 gold piece. Go Fred, be more useful thanks to the Xerox copy because the game kills us instantly and rid of us of all our items. I hate the mechanics. Okay, where we were with all the time that we lost. Now we have the Fairy Kingdom map. Where to go, where to go? There's the big city. Giant's Wall, the city. The Great Stone. Witchwood Forest. I guess we should go straight. The city or the woods? Witchwood Forest, I guess. That's northeast. You're sinking. The silver sphere is glowing bright red, but it's a bit late for that since you're now up to your waist and still sinking in what seems to be a pretty smelly patch of bog, or marsh, or possibly quicksand. There's a simple way out of this mess. All you need to do is lasso that piece of rock a little to your right, which you can do on a throw of 4 or better on a double dice. Provided you have a rope, of course. Yes, thanks for the rope. No problem. To escape, you have the choice of these directions. It doesn't really make sense where we were going. That's not clear at all. Let's go east, I guess. Ah, there we go. You're on the edge of a huge forest. Nearby on a tree, someone has nailed a crude notice, scrawled on a piece of board. The notice reads simply, "Beware Witchwood." If you feel like ignoring the notice and entering the forest, yeah, let's go look. This is not a holiday resort, Pip. In fact, it's one of the nastiest places you've ever entered. But the biggest problem with a dank, dark forest is that one tree looks much like any other, with the result that in very short order you find yourself totally lost. There's only one thing to do in a situation like this: roll a dice. Uh-huh. 1, 6 or in between. So that's in between. You step out of the trees into a clearing and into a great deal of trouble. In the middle of the clearing, hunched over a bubbling cauldron, are 3 old hook-nosed crones, wearing black dresses and pointy hats. They appear to be making some sort of stew of toad legs, newt's eyes, and bat's wings. This is either a group of strolling players rehearsing Macbeth or a genuine witch sabbat. And with your luck, it isn't difficult to guess which. One of the old dears glances up excitedly. "Look what we have for dessert!" she tells her companions. A disturbing remark, considering she's looking right at you. Well, it's fire be stew. The witches are a bit special. Okay, they are marked on this page for enemy statistics, but before that, Merlin's house, I guess. Can get a, maybe try to get a magical item, but it's only 1 out of 6 chances. And nope, that's half HP. So let's continue gambling Merlin's house. That's such a bad mechanic. 4. Is it full HP? That's the dream time thingy without any risk. That's the standard sleep. What was sleep already? I don't do that very often because the dream time is supposedly quite hard. I must have notes on this. Sleep, roll 1 die, 1, 4, 5, 6, roll 2 dice. Yeah, that's not very much better. 23. 3, that's the magic item stash. What will be interesting? Fireball will be. Anything else that could be useful against those? Oh, the laughing globe, not sure because there are many of them. The instruction for the bolt. Let's get the instructions, yep. So whatever Merlin have told you, This item can be removed safely by unscrewing it from the left side. If, however, you elect to leave it in place throughout the adventure, you have only to touch the right side briefly before combat to trigger a potentially interesting effect. Provided you touch the right side before combat, which means, of course, that you were not surprised by your opponent, any throw of 12 by your opponent will result in his weapon striking the item and absorbing such a charge of stored lightning that he will be killed instantly. The effect will hold throughout his entire adventure, but should you ever decide to remove the item, it cannot be used in this way again, even if you subsequently replace it. Right, we made a good choice by keeping the both. Now we know how it works. And let's try to roll 12 against the witches. They work differently, they said. Let's see enemy statistics. Okay, first the good news. Each witch has only 20 life points. That's as much as a bunch of peasants. Now the bad news, all three have magic coming out of their ears. Minnie, the first witch to act against you after you've rolled for first strike, has a Jovian Thunderbolt, stolen from the Romans, which she will hurl successfully against you on 6 or better. This bolt removes all your life points, but once thrown, cannot be used again by Minnie. Aggie, the second witch, is carrying a Kangling, which is a magic trumpet made from a human thigh bone. She imported it from Tibet. If Aggie sounds this trumpet, which she will do successfully on 6 or better, causes you to be encased in a cube of gelatinous substance, which eats away 10 life points per combat round as long as the fight continues. Scrug, the third witch, is the most dangerous of the lot since she has a packet of 6 Dragonfire pills tucked into her girdle. By swallowing just one of these pills, which she will do immediately her turn to fight arises, Scrug can breathe a fiery plume which will engulf you for the painful loss of 30 life points. A friendly action is possible against only one of the 3. Your choice. That's crazy. However, they don't seem to, well, the first one don't seem to attack after throwing spear. The magic trumpet is kind of bad, though. And the other one as well. That's an automatic death, though. Friendly reaction. Let's remove the insta-death, I guess. Okay, the enemy die. That's a 1. It's impossible. Insta-death. Check initiative. At least Pip can strike first. And Fred is coming to fight because, well, we need Fred. Otherwise we die. Ah, Fred is on the other side. Thank you, Fred. That's ludicrous. Seriously. That's just ludicrous. Ah. Let's skip this fight. I don't care. Should I have taken the fireballs? Well, they can still roll 12. And I still have to attack. That's it. Nine damage. First one misses. Second one hits, so I have 3 rounds live. Well, 2 actually. And the other one just kills me. And Fred is gone. We lose everything, and so it means that at some point we won't have any other item. We die. Enough. That really sucks so much. Let's go somewhere else. Actually, do I know where to go when dying in the Fairy Kingdom? If I go to 14. Now we can we redo everything from the beginning, yeah. We do everything else all around. Where were we before that, though? Let's roll our HP. That means 41. 29, I think. That's the forest. I need to go before that. Before that is the swamp, though. It's really a pain in the ass just backtracking. Thinking I don't want the sinking parts. Okay, there we are, 58 there. And let's check out a bunch of Merlin's house stuff. Oh, we have a really big streak here. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Full HP. 2, 1. 2, 2, 3, 2, 4. 2 regular items and 4 magical. We're losing all the magical items before we can use them most of the time, though. Okay, regular items. We don't have bandages anymore, healing potions, all that thing. Lost the map. Oh, that sucks so much. The robe, the globe. Build. Let's delete everything. Can take a lantern, I guess. And pipes of pan. For the magic items, 4 is kind of a bit too much. I guess I'll take the resurrection one. The sanctuary scroll. The Egyptian death mask. And Fennec Elm. That's number 6. 18/2021. Place this item over your face, your body functions instantly cease, and you will appear stone dead to any monster, enemy, or friend. That allows you to avoid a great deal of potential hassle, since it means you can move on as if you had won the fight. Roll 1 die to find out how often you can use this item before its power runs out. It's a fight skipper. You choose age, costs you 1 life point. Hey, that's kind of... Psionic Elm. This item, when worn, amplifies your brain waves to such a degree that you can severely weaken the one opponent for 7 consecutive combat rounds by discharging a horrifying blast of mental energy. While in this weakened state, your opponent will score only half the damage shown by his dice rolls. Oh, can use it a number of times before it kills us. So that means 2 times because we won't use it a 3rd time. Well, I guess. Not sure, maybe. Point. Percent them received. Die after 3rd usage. But there's the resurrection wand. The item requires a charge of 15 life points. This requires you to try 9 or better. Roll 9 plus. When you manage both, you may use it to resurrect 1 dead body which returns to life with... it's not us. Also, oddly enough, use it on yourself. Oh, okay. You've charged the item with 15 life points before you were killed. Can be used 3 times as well. I think we'll take this opportunity to charge it right now. Bam. Sanctuary Scroll. This item may be used up to 3 times before its power runs out. Magic creates an impermeable and invisible bubble around you, which absolutely prevents any attack causing you damage during a fight. Unfortunately, you will have to break the bubble after 4 combat rounds, otherwise you will suffocate. Invulnerability 4 rounds. Now we might be in business unless we fall into the trap, which will surely happen soon. Okay, we're ready to go again. Did we go to the east at first? No, we went to the northeast. Let's try east straight. Something strange here. A little way ahead, rising out of the wilderness, is a curious metal cube. The The artifact stands nearly 10 feet high and seems at a distance quite featureless. Can investigate the cube or go somewhere else. The metal surfaces of the cube glows slightly as you approach, radiating differing colors. Of the four sides, you can see one glows faintly orange, one indigo, one violet, and one yellow. On each of the four sides is a warning notice stating simply, "Do not touch." If you're the sort of adventurer who meekly obeys every silly notice you come across, you can leave the cube to its own devices. Of course, if you desperately want to touch the cube, you're quite at liberty to do so. Select the color of the side you want to touch, keep it firmly in mind or write it down, then continue. Look out, Pip, it's a transportation device, in space and possibly even time as well. Oh, too late, you've noticed the silly thing. Despite all the warning notices, the world whirls around you dizzily. You're engulfed by fog which slowly clears if you touch yellow, orange, violet, or indigo. Yeah, 50, that's... Oh, it sends us somewhere else in the book randomly. That sucks so much. Okay, I fell back somewhere that I went before, so I can go back and try a different place. Yeah, I know that place as well, so I can go back again. What are the two other options? I didn't see that one before. This is one of the most remarkable sights you have ever seen, Pip. Only a few hundred yards in front of you, the ground simply seizes, as if you had reached a vast descending cliff. You move forward cautiously, testing the way beneath your feet. Eventually, you reach the edge and look over. The cliff face drops away further than the eye can see, dropping into the depths of space. This is no ordinary precipice. Far below, you can see faintly twinkling stars. You have reached the edge of the world. Sounds like suicide. It might be a teleport though as well. Let's go back later on. Sure, jumping in the void. What's the other one? Ah, yeah, this one. You're approaching a broad, swift river with some rather peculiar-looking trees growing along the edge of the bank. The air feels fresh here, and the trees are full of bird song. Altogether a very pleasant place, which makes you instantly suspicious. Closer inspection convinces you that the river is too deep and fast to risk swimming, so you park yourself on a nearby rock and consider your alternatives. The most obvious of these is to make yourself a raft. Launch it... Okay, yeah, make a raft. Launch it onto the water and see where the river takes you. But to do this, you will need an axe, a saw, hammer, or mallet, and some nails or spikes. If you have these items, nope, we don't. Can go to Merlin's house. That's another magical item. That's too much at once. Orb of Incredible Destruction. Throw it, use it, and roll one die. If you score 4, 5, 6, it will completely wipe out any group of enemies however large. 1, 2, 3, we die. Okay. All enemies dead. 1, 3, we die 2. 1 charge per adventure. It's the thing to kill the boss. The end. So, well, we didn't get what we wanted. Oh, full HP. It's no, not full HP. Sleep. 36. Nice. Yep, there we go. That will be 29. It's a place that we went already. Yeah, we need to go back to really a pain in the ass. That's not on the other one. The jump in the void place. So we go back there, roll another one. Whatever we do, we end up dead anyway. Why is that? Yeah, skip that. 7. Just randomly throwing dice and finding ourselves whatever. I'm going to look for something. Okay. Let's go straight to the city, I guess. I understand why there was a warning at the beginning. Not really, well, it's kind of hard difficulty somehow. But again, it's not really a good design. If we go to the city, that's southeast. Should write down center paragraph where we're going back again and again. Southeast, okay, there. Oh yeah, let's try over there. Shrub and rock, rock and shrub. Rock and stone, I guess it will be better. The wilderness goes on forever, desolate, lonely. Well, maybe not quite so lonely here, on account of the little figure sitting on that rock. Quickly you glance at your silver sphere to discover it is flashing blue. Blue? What on earth does blue mean? Green is safe, amber a little dangerous, red very dangerous, but blue? Blue could be anything. Cautiously you approach a little figure, which on closer inspection turns out to be a well-armored dwarf. Greetings, Sir Dwarf. Call politely, since you are uncertain whether it is his friend or foe. Greetings, gigantic person, replies the dwarf, everything being relative. My name is Pip, you introduce yourself. Here on a quest for the great sword Excalibur by order of His Majesty King Arthur of Avalon. My name is Ben, replies the dwarf, here to catch a boarfax. First your sphere flashes blue, then this little warrior talks about something called a boarfax. The world is full of mysteries and decisions come to that. Yes, let's help Ben. Please permit me to assist you in any way I can, you say in your best pompous voice. But first, what may seem to you a rather obvious question. What's a boarfax? That's a boarfax, Ben says calmly, gesturing behind you. You turn to discover rushing across the wilderness towards you at a fearsome rate of knots, one of the most terrifying creatures you have ever seen. Although only 4 feet high, it is some 6 feet long, not including a grotesque forked tail. It runs on 2 powerful hind legs, the front legs bearing savage claws, and displays enormous fangs. All 3 of its huge bulging eyes are yellow, and its long tongue is lashing hungrily from side to side. Its massive head and muscular body is scaly and slimy, and generally unappealing. Be careful not to kill it, Ben remarks as he slides down from his rock to stand at your side, short sword drawn. Maybe she'll be telling the boarfax not to kill you, no matter the die is, so to speak, cast, and as an Avalon adventurer you are committed to your promise to help. The boarfax, you will not be too surprised to learn, has 70 life points. You're carrying a quartz crystal. The boarfax will sense its vibrations when it is 10 feet away and stop transfix, allowing you and Ben to kill the beast. Yeah, whatever happens, I have all the means to kill it instantly, so... Boom. By Jove! Exclaims Ben, leaping up and down in excitement. That was neatly done! He produces a rope from his backpack and quickly hobbles the legs of the supine boarfax, which rights itself after a moment and stands staring dolefully at the 2 of you without, however, making any move to attack. What are you going to do with him? You ask curiously. Well, the first thing is to get him house trained, Ben tells you. You mean you're going to keep this thing as a pet? You ask incredulously. He nods. They're quite affectionate, really, given time and patience. He fumbles underneath his breastplate and extracts a necklace made from strong fangs, one of which he unfastens and hands to you. Your reward, says. Stare at the fang glistening in your palm. What is it? A wrong tooth, Ben tells you. It's the only thing in the known universe that will protect you from wrong attack. Very useful it can be. Now since I can't stand here chatting all day, I'll be off. He turns to the boarfax. Ill spot, commands and walks off northwards. To your intense surprise, the creature hobbles off quite peacefully after him. Okay. You have a front tooth. There we go. East. It has grown extremely rocky here, so much so that you quickly find your only real choice of direction is north or northwest. It absolutely goes anywhere, like it said at the beginning. Makes absolutely no sense. We need to remember the numbers. Something is moving on the horizon. Something sleek and brown, and there's more than one. A quick glance at your silver sphere confirms that you already half suspect. The sphere glows blood red, indicating you are in big trouble. Quickly you turn, intending to go back the way you came, but behind you, distantly, comes a coughing hole. You are being hunted, Pip. Turn to the enemy statistics section to find out by what and how many. Oh, good. What's after you is a pack of hunting Vron. Brown, sleek, hungry, and intensely dangerous. Each Vron in the pack. There's something about a tooth. If you don't have a Vron tooth, you're going to have to fight. Okay, if you happen to be carrying a Vron tooth, the creatures will approach quite close but will not attack, leaving you free to take any direction shown in the section. Nice. Seems that we just need to have the correct things at the correct time. Let's have other options. Let's go east again. Trouble with this wilderness is that one bit of it looks much like any other. At the moment you have a choice of the following directions with not a lot of help to help you in determining which way to go. We're running around in circles there. We didn't go there before. Now there's something different. You are approaching a walled city, and you realize quite how peculiar when you take a little time to examine the place more carefully. There are no entrances anywhere in the walls. None at all. How do the people of the city get in and out? More to the point, how do sturdy adventurers like your good self get in and out? The annoying thing is that from what you can see of it over the walls, it's a most interesting looking city. High slim spires and towers. Like an illustration from a book of fairy tales. Convinced there must be an entrance somewhere, you circle around a little. The city, it seems, is divided in two by a river, unfortunately too wide, deep and swift for swimming, although you do discover an unguarded bridge, which allows you to cross from one side to the other. But each sector is completely walled, still with no indication of a way in or out. Okay, we can't absolutely not get in this. Oh, okay. I think I never went there. Okay. This is really weird, Pip. Before you is a flat featureless plain covered by a short growth of violet grass. Beyond looms a towering wall constructed of cut stones, any one of which must weigh at least 50 tons. The wall stretches east and west as far as the eye can see, with no indication of gate or door. Cross the plain to examine the wall more closely. It towers above you like a cliff face, far too high to contemplate climbing, and so massive that it will withstand rather the onslaught of an army. No chance of going further south. No, now the Great Wall is quite invisible. Okay. Well, now here's something to set your nerves a tingle. Somehow or other, you have stumbled on a vast dark lake. So still and silent, you could hear a goldfish sneeze. Great gnarled trees hang at the edge, trailing ancient branches in the water. No more than 100 yards away from you, a ferry boat is beached, a craft of strange design, ornately carved with weird demonic heads and mythic beasts. Standing in the prow is a slim, robed and hooded figure, presumably the ferryman, although his face is lost in the shadow of the hood. As you watch, the figure stretches out one arm, a skeletal hand emerges from the robe and beckons you silently towards him. You can take a cruise or circumvent the lake. The skeletal ferryman says not a word, but makes a mystic gesture in the air, and the weird craft pulls away of its own accord and glides silently across the dark waters of the great still lake, carrying you both to the other side. The craft beaches on an island, and at a sign from the figure you disembark. A quick glance around shows you the island is further less other than a small, dark, stone-built tower near its center. What is? You begin, but as you turn you find to your dismay that you are talking to yourself. Both the ferryman and his weird craft have completely vanished. The tower doesn't look all that promising. In fact, it looks positively threatening, but if you want to explore it, yeah, we're there, so why not? The tower is built very sturdily, with only one entrance, a stout wooden door, bolted on the outside as if to keep something in rather than to keep intruders out. You try to bolt and find that it slides easily, but as it does so, the door crashes open with terrifying force, knocking you flying, which is possibly just as well since it places you temporarily out of reach of the creature which has just escaped from its prison. It is quite very heavily muscled, humanoid, but horned and scaled, similar in many respects to the sort of nightmare you might expect from eating cheese and drinking whiskey at bedtime. It hesitates momentarily, blinking at a light. That hesitation gives you the choice of A. Fight, B. Run. Let's see the stats. There's a special stats page. This creature is an extremely rare example of a demon spawn, escaped from a totally different reality and locked in the tower by heaven only knows who or what. Fortunately for you, it has been severely weakened by its long captivity. 760 years to be exact, and has only 80 life points. It is unarmed and does not use spells. Probably because it does need to. It's successfully on 3 or better. Whoa, does +2. Can be bribed only with 20 million gold pieces. Well, can skip this fight anyway. Yep, there we go. Egyptian dead mask. I hope it gives something useful. You enter the tower with some trepidation following that nasty experience, but there is no danger inside according to your silver sphere, which is now glowing green. In fact, there isn't much inside at all except for a heap of filthy straw in the corner. Holding your nose with one hand, you search with the other and discover 3 interesting items. One is an ebony rod with a hollow in the tip, which seems to have been made to insert some sort of gemstone. One is a small unpolished leaden ball about 2 inches in diameter, and one is a piece of parchment with a coded message. The message reads, Code 3. See what it is. It says, to leave this place, take lead ball in left hand and go to 88. No sooner do you take the ball in your hand and your surroundings begin to spin dizzily, whirling you off into the depths. Ah, seriously? I already went to that section before. Those are all sections that we did before. Yeah, actually I could go back now that I have a mean to kill the witches. Can simply go back in the forest, kill the witches. Forest here. Ah, yeah, we had to roll a dice though. Yeah. I already went there, so go back and then roll dice. I know all those numbers, so whatever the result, I can re-roll and get here. Survive the encounter with the witches. You certainly did well to survive that mess, Pip, but fortune favors the brave, and while the three old biddies haven't the scrap of gold between them, you are certainly entitled to Minnie's Thunderbolt, Aggie's Kangling, and Scrug's Dragon Fire Pills. Minnie's Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt, itch on a throw of 6 or 6 to hit. Should write it. Their spells. Here. 6 to hit. Minus 4% life. Enemy life point. Only once. The Kangling. 6 to hit. And life 1 per turn. It can be used twice. Dragon Fire Pills. There are 2 of them. Five damage. Excellent. Well, we're starting to be quite well equipped after a bunch of misadventures. We already went there, there as well. I'm not sure we went to that section before. Is rock going under a hot sun? Around you stretches the wilderness, rough ground and shrub broken here and there by looming rock. You tramp for miles, growing more and more hungry until you are almost fainting for lack of jam butty or bag of crisps. You stop, prop your back against a rock, and come to a decision. You have to eat. We go back to Merlin's house. Oh, there we go. Rations and stuff. We don't really care about the other stuff. Eat something fast and go north or south. North. The wilderness hasn't changed much. Still the same old shrub and rock, but you somehow feel a lot more positive about it. Which is just as well, since you're going to have to deal with those 3 barbarians riding towards you on their small but sturdy ponies. Glance at the silver sphere and find it has turned amber. The Fairy Kingdom is your only guide to the danger you face until you make your decision to fight, run, or surrender. Decide to run, throw 1 die, and running. Decide to surrender, the barbarians will not injure you, but they will take all your equipment. No. Decide to fight. Turn to the stats. Okay, they have a special page as well. I guess it's so that we don't see the enemy stats beforehand. Each barbarian has only 12 life points due to lack of food. You're weaker than peasants. Each will, however, strike successfully on 5 or better and does +3 damage with his sword. Bribery is possible at a rate of 300 gold pieces per barbarian. Can roll a friendly reaction though. The first is friendly, the second one is friendly, and the third one is friendly as well. Okay, kind of easy. There we go. You searched is supposed to give corpses. And check the rules for friendly reaction, just sure. Proceed as if you had one. Okay. I search the corpses of the friendly barbarians. They're paying me, in other words. Two dice for each bag. And multiply by 10. That's 230 golds. North or south, both for places that we went. I guess we have no choices but to just jump at the edge of the world. We never went there. You are approaching mountains, not very big but definitely mountains. Already you are in the foothills and climbing swiftly. Around you the air is growing chill and strangely the light is growing dim. The ground beneath your feet has a curiously shifting feel, as if it were not quite solid. The rocks around you are twisted and distorted, and while they remain still, when you look at them directly, they seem to write when you see them from the corner of your eye. Something gibbers softly to your right, but when you swing around, nothing is there. Distantly ahead, there is a piercing scream tailing off into utter silence. Maybe you shouldn't stick around here too long, Pip. Westwards, the mountains are impassable, so it's pointless going that way. Due east may or may not take you back the way you came. The bad news is that before you go anywhere, you're stuck with the effects these mountains have had on you, which is mental confusion. Nope. Next 3 combat encounter. I won't really fight anyway. There's somewhere we didn't go yet in those directions. This wilderness goes on forever. With nothing better to do, you check your silver sphere at frequent intervals and become so accustomed to nothing happening that it comes as quite a surprise when it suddenly turns red. Glancing around you hurriedly, you catch sight of movement in some shrub. Like a fight if you decide to investigate. Okay. Check enemy stats page again. Creature in the shrub is a wolf. It has 25 life points. Strikes successfully on 5 does +2. The bad news is its speed, which means it can make 2 strikes for every one of yours. Oh, a friendly reaction might be possible. And it's friendly. Okay. That was well done, Pip. A nasty encounter by any account. By the looks of things, the wolf was emerging from its lair, which was hidden by the shrub. A quick glance inside assures you the rest of the pack are absent. And you find a parchment with a code again, code 5. Here a part of parchment is missing, having been chewed up by the wolf. The remainder reads... Part. The Great Sword Excalibur, Scrog Auto. Yeah, I guess that it was the city. But how can we get inside? That's the question there. I don't think we went east from here. You're approaching a large mound, which, to be perfectly frank, looks suspiciously like a giant anthill. If it really is a giant anthill, the ants themselves would have to be the size of rats. Which hardly bears thinking about, but perhaps it isn't a giant anthill. You can explore the mound. Cautiously, you approach a mound. As you get closer, the impression of a gigantic anthill grows stronger. Closer still, you can see an opening in the side, no more than 6 inches in diameter. A movement catches your eye, and you see within the opening 2 slowly waving antennae. Almost instantly, an ant as big as a rat scuttles out, waves its antennae in your direction, then scuttles back in again. It may of course be the only ant at home, or you may manage a friendly action 148,000 times if all the ants are at home. Oh, we can come with some sort of arrangement with a queen ant as well, maybe. You move closer. At once a stream of soldier ants, each as big as a rat, emerges from the hole and forms ranks in front of you. Swiftly you draw EJ, but before you can make any further move, a high-pitched female voice sounds in your mind. Who are you? You glance around, searching for the source of the voice, then decide you were not mistaken. Whatever is talking to you is talking inside your head. Could these be telepathic hands? Not telepathic hands, a telepathic colony, the voice says, adding, I am the group mind of the colony, and you are. Pip, you reply, a little sheepishly. Ah, of course, Pip. We should have known. Merlin has mentioned you quite often. You know Merlin? Quite intimately. We have engaged in long-distance telepathic conversations with him frequently. He is currently trying to teach us astrology as a matter of fact. What an interesting development. If this colony is friendly with Merlin, they might be quite useful to you. They might even have some clue to the whereabouts of Excalibur. We're afraid not, remarks the colony. The only person we communicate much with apart from Merlin is the sage on top of the stone pillar, and while he may be of some use to you, we fear he is half mad, as sages frequently are, and does not know where the sword is either. However, it is obviously our duty to extend hospitality to a friend of Merlin's. Will you care for a little honey? Honey? I thought it was bees that made honey, not ants. We blush to admit we stole it. Will you like some? It has remarkable healing properties. The soldier ant scuttled back inside and re-emerged, carrying 6 neat little cubes of honeycomb. Looks as if you've lucked out yet again, Pip. Each cube not only tastes delicious, but contains the exact equivalent of 6 doses of healing potion. Each cube but contains the exact equivalent. That's 36 doses. Oh, we have 6 cubes. Oh, yes, 6 cubes of 6. Oh, damn. 36 doses, and all and every one will restore a double dice roll of life points. Resist the temptation to scuff all the honey now, stash away the cubes, thank the colony politely, and pick your next destination. Indeed, but let's craft a bunch of them first, though. Oh, full shape. Like this. 36 healing potions, that's quite nice. A new direction. Sure, we went there before. Also, the east here, I think that we never went. Yeah, let's try this one. The wilderness stretches around you, the silence broken only by the sound of your own footsteps. Or are they your own footsteps? You stop, the footsteps stop. You stop, the footsteps stop. You check the silver sphere, it is glowing blood red. You move on again, the footsteps move on again. You stop, the footsteps continue. You spin around. Frantically, you grab for your sword. And not before time, rushing towards you is a sand dragon. Oh, no chance to surrender here, Pip. He has a special page. Does he? Yeah, he does. Well, DJ is good against dragons. The Sand Dragon has a massive 55 life points. Strikes successfully on 7 or better, since it is somewhat unwieldy, but does +5 damage. Worse still, it is so strong that its natural skin acts as an armor, subtracting -4, but a friendly reaction is possible. Okay, let's try that out before fighting it. It's not friendly. Okay, but we do +10 against dragons. Okay, let's see how it goes. We have lots of honeycombs. Initiative. Pip goes first. 8, that's 15 damage, -4, 11. Well, he almost dead on the spot though. But he didn't. It's 5 plus 5, 10. It's like a truck. Nice, and 11 there as well. That's 18 minus 4. He's down to 30 HP. 5, that's a miss for the dragon. We hit. For 13 minus 4, 9. Dragon hits. 9 damage. It hits. For 16 minus 4, 12. Nice hit by the dragon, sadly. 9 damage. Pretty much need to kill it right now. And I think that job's done. Yep. We need to eat a bunch of honeycombs. 3. 9. We're at 22. 31. 41. Yeah. I think it was the most easy fight of the night. With the Sun Dragon safely out of the way, you begin to plan your next move when a vague memory of the creature's habits abruptly surfaces in your mind. Something about the dragon's lair. Carefully you begin to follow its tracks, which leads eventually to a gloomy cavern in the massive rock. Cautiously you enter, sword at the ready, but a quick glance round convinces you no danger lurks here. The cave is smelly, full of junk and debris, the sight of which clears your mind at once. The Sun Dragon is notorious for collecting all sorts of rubbish. Quickly you begin to search. The dragon must have killed a good few travelers in its time, for there are many old rusting weapons here and bits of useless armor. You persevere, and finally your patience is rewarded. A sack in one corner contains no less than 6 bottles of healing potion, and an unused sleep globe. Oh, nice. More healing. Six bottle, damn. We have too much stuff. We're going to get an instead at somewhere. I think we tried all those places before. Maybe not that one. Ah, that's a dwarf. I'm not sure if there's a section left. Go. Try to go to the first paragraph. 11, 17, 24, 92, 35, 48, 67, 80. I remember most of them. Let's check them out one by one just to make sure. 17 just got there. It's the Sand Dragon. 11 here is the Ration Sting. With the Barbarians. Before 92. $24 is the Metal Cube, the Teleport one, I think. Yeah, that's the Donut Touch Cube, which sends us to sections we went before, all of them. Uh, 92, 35. There's a fight and we can go somewhere else. I don't remember that number though. Ah, here, that's the sage that we learned about before. Distantly in the wilderness, you see a curious rock formation towering a basalt pillar, some 20 feet high and so regular that it appears rather, almost to be man-made. Squatting cross-legged, on top of this formation is a robed and hooded figure, so still it might be carved from stone, but definitely a living, if extremely ancient, man. Approach the dude. Excuse me, you say, staring up while shielding your eyes against that violet-tinged sun. But what are you doing sitting on that pillar? The hooded ancient glances briefly in your direction and smiles. Waiting for you, he says. For me? Certainly, my meditations convince me that one who sought the sword must venture here eventually. You do seek the sword, do you not? Yes, but who are you? The sage of the basalt pillar, he replies. It is my task and my pleasure to test your worth in it. Hold on, you say in some alarm. I've already been tested. I fought the ghastly guardian goal. Which tests only your skill with a sword. I must test your skill with magic. Do you happen to have any with you? Not a lot, you reply quickly, unwilling to risk losing precious magic to some old idiot on top of a rock. I may be an old idiot on top of a rock, but I am skilled at reading minds, remarked the sage. Sighs. No matter, take this. And he tosses you down a finely made little rosewood box with inlaid lid. A magical artifact and a gift from me to you. The magical artifact reminds you that you are carrying another. Surreptitiously, you glance at the silver sphere, which is, to your surprise, glowing blood red. How odd. Certainly, this venerable sage doesn't look all that dangerous. But his sphere is definitely red, and a very threatening red at that. To be on the safe side, you say politely, Thank you for your gift, venerable sage. I shall cherish it for the remainder of my life. Which may not be all that long, remarks the sage dryly. If you are unable to solve the mystery of the magic, examine the lid of the box. You do so and discover that the inlay is in the form of numbers. Don't touch them, warns the sage quickly. The correct number when touched will open the box. To touch an incorrect number is death. But I will tell you that the correct number is my age. And my age is twice that of my youngest son. And my youngest son is 10 years older than my eldest niece, who in turn is twice the age of my wife was when she died, which was 50 years ago. Coincidentally, my third wife's first husband is today exactly the age my third wife will have been had she not died, which is 308 years. Now, please examine the numbers on the box and try not to touch the wrong one. They look all like new numbers. Alright, so my third wife, first husband. It's today exactly the age my third wife will have been had she not died. So that's 308. But she died 50 years ago, so that's 58. And she's the other one twice the age, so that's 516. And the son is 10 years older, so that's 526. And twice, that's 1052. Cautiously, you touch the number. At once, the lid springs open, revealing inside a small but beautifully cut ruby, nestling on a velvet cushion. The gem glints in the sun. Wow, you breathe. The jewel, says the sage, is extremely valuable, but you must never sell it, for it has a substantial magical property. Indeed, I can tell you now, it is quite vital to the completion of your quest. How do I use it, venerable sage? You ask, widely delighted to have a bit of magic booty come to you so easily. That I cannot tell you at this time, except to say this. The gem alone has no magic. Only when you find the ebony rod, can you use it to its full effect. With which the old fool closes his eyes and falls asleep. I may be a sleeping old fool, but I can still read minds, he murmurs before beginning quietly to snore. Not much more you can do here except creep away. I think we went to all those places before. Yep, what to do with the bunny rod and the ruby though? Right, the ruby as well. Right, 48. I remember that place. Here's where we didn't win yet. The wilderness of rock and shrub has turned to sandy soil, and desert dunes encroaching in a broad swathe that may one day swallow up the wilderness itself. I suppose you do not know where you're going, asks KJ. Of course I do, you tell him confidently. Which is probably just as well, since there are quite a few choices of direction here. And they're all places that we went to before. Where's the thing with the river, though? That we didn't go because we didn't have the stuff from Merlin's house. I don't want any more magic items. Aye. But the stuff, there was the mallet. Oh, there we go. Nails. And what was the other thing? A saw. And where was that space with the river? Ah, here's the river, yeah. Can make a raft with an axe, a saw. Oh, we need another thing too. Need to. Except that rolling thing eat shit. Let's remove the lantern and switch for an axe. And go to the place with the raft. The strong flow of the great river carries you swiftly eastwards for several hours before the waterway abruptly narrows and unaccountably slows. As an intelligent and opportunist young adventurer, it occurs to you that this might be your chance to reach the southern side of the river. A lightning-fast mental calculation convinces you that your chances of doing so safely are quite high. But it is in fact the best way to go. Make up your mind now, Pip. Since you're unlikely to have another opportunity, if you decide to try for the southern bank, throw 2 dice. Or you may continue eastwards on the river. Technically, we want to go in city, so let's go eastwards. By George, there is a city up ahead. The river you are on flows right through it. And what a curious city, all slim spires and turrets like some illustration in a book of fairy tales. A high wall surrounds the sectors, both north and south of the river. But as the flow sweeps your frail craft eastwards, you can see a huge bridge linking the two. Trailing from the bridge are heavy fishing nets. Those nets are intriguing, Pip. With a bit of luck, you could just about reach them as your raft sweeps past and climb up onto the bridge. You want to try this? Roll 2 dice. Ah, nice. That's a dice that... Yeah, that kind of sucks because the only way inside the city, and if you miss the roll, you die. Need to do everything over again. And it's a roll of 5 or 6. Ah, no, I'll skip the roll. Forget that. The only way to get in anyway. You made it, Pip. Congratulations. You are standing on the bridge, a little breathless to be sure, but safe enough for a moment. Glancing about you, you can see the largest part of the city lies to the north. An item could... I'll take a look at the 3 other magic items that we got, though. The levitation tablet, I guess. Yeah, the levitation tablet will make us go up, I guess, Let's skip the roll check. Check later for something else. Glancing about you, you can see the largest part of the city lies to the north, while fewer buildings stand in the southern sector. Before you can make up your mind where to go, you notice two heavily bearded dwarves approaching. One male, one female. Yes, the female dwarf is just as heavily bearded as the male. They stop abruptly as they catch sight of you. "That person has a nude face, Henry!" exclaims the female dwarf to her companion in some alarm and not a little outrage. "Nobody dares come to Scragolo City with a nude face, Minnie," Henry says. "Not with the police and the guards and everybody else ready to kill them and beat them and throw them in jail. Nude faces are against the law in Scragolo." He takes her by the arm and, despite the fact that she begins to belabor him strongly with a leather handbag, leads her past you over the bridge, nodding civilly and short-sightedly in your direction. No harm done here as it happens, but the incident could certainly suggest you won't get far in this place unless you have a decently airy face. If you happen to be carrying a false beard and mustache, whip it up and put it on instantly. If not, you can always try Merlin's house and the equipment store before you move any further. Won't happen soon. Yay, there. Take the lantern as well. There we go. Before entering a new section within the city, you must make one roll of a single die. Score and you can proceed safely to your direction. Wandering rough police patrol. Oh yeah, if we have a nude face, it won't happen. Now you may study the city plan at the end of the book. There we go, lots of numbered sections. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 on the north, the bridge in the middle, 6, 7 at the bottom. Okay, which one contains Excalibur? There's a big castle in the middle. And there's a big thing on the east as well. Try the big thing on the east. This is one monumentally large building, Pip. Unguarded but locked up tight. And it is by the main door states closed until 10:30 p.m. It's still a good few hours away, despite all the time you've wasted messing around in this city. Nevertheless, not being one to miss an opportunity, you have a little peer in at one of the windows. Inside you can see rows upon rows of identical bunk beds with a wooden locker beside each. And notice on the far wall states, "Long live King Blackwood." Not much more to see here, Pip. Better select another destination from the city plan. Yeah, those are the barracks. Let's try them all, I guess.